What's up, guys? It's your boy, Barca boy 103. Today we're going to be reflecting, analyzing, and reviewing last night's match against Inter Milan, which of course ended up in Barcelona being eliminated from the Champions League. A lot of stuff to talk through. I want to also discuss my main headline here that you can see more positives than negatives coming out of this game, where if you look at the past 10 years, it was always the flip side, way more negatives than there were positives. Look, it was a very even time. I think Inter were kind of, one of the bogey teams in the sense of, style of play that could get at us. I was very confident in the fact that saying that I think the only thing that could easily, make it super challenging for us was Real Madrid in this season. But of course, Inter ended up knocking us out. Based on the two legs and how everything went, I've seen a lot of, reactions online. I've seen the players who have come out now and they've posted their stuff on their IG and all that sort of stuff. And there's a lot to take from this. And again, like I mentioned in the caption, there are a lot more positives than negatives. I think some of the negatives to take through is, firstly, in the Champions League, there's two things that you need to win it: luck and refereeing underside. Now, I'm not saying you have to pay the referee, stuff like that, but getting those 50-50 calls all the time in your favor. We've had neither of those on this Champions League campaign run, and we've made it to the semifinal, which I think shows how strong and how good the team is. Last night, we saw Araujo, we saw Hansi Flick, we saw Pedri not bashing the referee, but really highlighting the fact that all the 50-50s went Inter Milan's way. It was at their home stadium. The Boltois that was the referee doesn't really like Barcelona. When he referees Barcelona, we tend to really do struggle. Again, I don't think the referee made any clinical errors apart from maybe the Gerard Martin foul and the potential handball by Acerbi, but all these 50-50 tackles, 50-50 calls, the throw-ins that need decision making, everything fell in the way of Inter, which was unfortunate. And also luck wasn't on our side either, hitting the post a few times, creating chances, not converting it. Yann Sommer having the fucking performance of his life as well. Everything went against us, and yet we were 2 minutes away from winning this game. And that's, for me, is where another negative comes in. I think the management of Flick in this game was absolutely diabolical. I mean, not bringing on Christensen and Gavi when you're trying to lock down the game is absolutely detrimental. In the way Barcelona, not only just in this game, but this season, when they want to see out games and results and how they struggle, it's quite embarrassing to see from a big club like that. Look how well Inter did, hitting the ball away, one end down, booted out, Yann Sommer catching the ball, rolling to the ground, tying his boots. This is what you have to do when you're in that kind of moment. And we had 4 minutes to defend, and we couldn't even survive for half of it. There were, of course, some clinical errors from the players. I would say more specifically, of course, maybe Gerard Martin doing better on that Dumfries chance, but I do think he was fouled, so I can't really go in on him on that too much. Then, of course, Araujo at fault for 2 goals. Yet again, he goes back-to-back years. I think last year you can definitely say he cost us. This time, I think he just put, a real stone in our way. The defending on the Acerbi goal wasn't that great from him, and also getting out-muscled and outrun by Thuram on the 4th goal as well. He came after the game saying that, yeah, we made errors, we're sad, but we're happy, and and how we feel, how we moved on. Like I mentioned in my match review yesterday, and I'll say it again, I think the performance from the team and the players, the motivation, the encouragement, the mindset, the mentality was very, very strong. I feel a lot of people, not really criticizing the performance of the team, but more so on individuals. I've seen Gerard Martin, of course, get some stick. Pedri, almost. I saw Frankie de Jong getting stick. I mean, I think Frankie de Jong, over the course of 120 minutes, had an absolutely fantastic game. He did give a ball away a few times, especially in dangerous areas. I remember one extra time. I remember one in the first half. Apart from those 2 slip-ups, I thought he was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I think Lamine Yamal had the game of his life as well. Yet another, I think, in my opinion, 9 out of 10 performance. Winning that free kick, causing a threat down that right-hand side, hitting the post, shutting it wide. Yann Sommer having a masterclass in goal. I think Raphinha didn't do too badly as well. I know that he was getting a lot of stick, especially in that first hour, which probably was rightfully so. But in the second half and during even extra time as well, he put in 3,000% effort. And that's one of the positives you can take from this as well, that the players did care. They did try. Of course, over the past few years, you didn't see that whatsoever. This year, you can definitely see it. They tried their best. They wanted it. They were talking about it all season long. It was the mindset from the beginning. In the end, you fall at the very, very last hurdle in the very last way in a game like this. Extra time, conceding in the last second, of course, as well. It just sucks that in the Champions League we just don't have that luck. I think at this point now you can definitely classify Barcelona as being cursed. We need to be like 3,000% to win a Champions League. I think in this campaign we were at 90%, which wasn't enough unfortunately. I think Flick came out after the game, commemorating the players, saying how well they played, going in on the referee a little bit. I think, in my opinion, the one thing to take away from this game is the board need to make signings. Do not go into next season with the same squad like we did from last season to this season, because you'll see the same issues and the same problem. The board need to make the correct signings. I'm not saying invest in 5 or 6 players, revamp the whole squad. No, I think the core of the squad is strong. I think the renewals of Rafa, Koundé, Lamine, and Frankie are needed this summer. But there are 2 key holes in this team that we saw in this game that cost us. Number 1 was fullback depth. Yes, Eric Garcia came in, scored a goal, and had another chance. Yes, Gerard Martin got 2 assists, but they were not good over the course. Not maybe Eric Garcia specifically, but the fullbacks were not good over the past few games, whether it was Valladolid, whether it was the first leg, even in the Real Madrid game as well. There needs to be stronger depth in the fullback position. Number 2, of course, quite clear and obvious, the left winger. I think Marc Bernal next season will be that kind of midfield sign that people are, asking for. I think his presence, his intelligence, his reading and vision of the game will be absolutely crucial next season to provide some. I think, breaking up that partnership of Pedri and De Jong will be hard, but I do think he has the talent to do so. But left wing, you need to sign a winger. Seeing Ferran Torres this season, doing well, getting, over 16 goals is fantastic to see. But in these moments, we needed a different outlook, and all we had on the bench was Pau Victor and Ansu Fati. And you can see that Hansi Flick does not really trust him that much. I think that is kind of the big thing to learn from here, that the board, they can see they have a good team, strong mentality, the ability to go far, the ability to create history. You have to back it and improve it. The second positive, I would say, maybe this is also a bit of a negative, is that injury. If Balde, Koundé, and Lewandowski scored this game, I think Barcelona would have not cruised, but would be in the final without a shadow of a doubt. You can see the weaknesses of Gerard Martin, Eric Garcia in this game, the lack of finishing, hold up play, build up play, and aerial presence of Ferran Torres compared to Lewandowski. If Lewandowski, Balde, and Koundé were fit for the 2 legs, I think Barcelona would have made it through. Losing both your fullbacks and your star striker is as worse as you can get. I think, of course, Lamine being injured would have been detrimental. I think we would have survived without Raphinha. I think Pedri over the course of these 2 legs wasn't that great, so maybe we would have survived without him. But losing the fullbacks against a team like Inter that used the width so well and come and trying to find space over the top, you can see Gerard Martin, if he had a bit more pace on him, he would have caught up to Dumfries easily. It wouldn't have to, gamble on a 50-50 challenge. Balde would have gotten there with his recovery pace. Look at the right-hand side as well. I think Koundé, when we won defending, would have done much better. I think Eric Garcia, to be fair, you could definitely argue, and I would probably maybe even agree a little bit, that he is better going forward than Jules Koundé. But defensively, Koundé 1v1 abilities and also defensive awareness, he's at an absolutely top elite level. So this is why I think one of the reasons why we lost this is, of course, not only the injuries, but also the bit of lack of depth in the squad in those areas where we had the injury. Of course, we got injured at midfield and center back. We would have been maybe able to survive. I think winger, striker, fullback, there's little to no depth. And of course, the depth that is there, Flick quite clearly doesn't really trust it that much. I think the one thing to know and to reflect from this game is to invest in the summer in the right players. Do not go and sign 4 or 5 players, sell 5 or 6 players on this team. No, make the 1 to 3 improved signings in this team and back this team again next season on this manager. It kind of sucks now because everyone knows we play a high line. It'll be easier to adapt to us next season. I don't think we'll have the success and the heights of this season. I think we can definitely go on and win a Champions League next season, but we will not have this dominant play and be the best team in the world, I don't think, because it always happens. Whether Real Madrid have their era, Barcelona, Bayern, City, once teams get used to it, see how you play and analyze you for a whole season, they definitely make it harder in the following season after that. That's why Pep's team is always highly praised, because people knew how they played, knew how to beat it, but they still couldn't, and that's what makes an elite team. I think this team is very good. I don't think it's elite. I think next season it will be much harder than this season because people now know, okay, they have a high line, keep it tight, keep it compact in the midfield, do the through balls and balls over the top very early on before the attacker reaches the halfway line and you're in behind. Those are the 2 things I think really cost in the end, was the substitutions and us not having the correct depth. But I do want to congratulate the team. I've seen now Rafa, Gerard Martin, Pedri, Lamine, Araujo, Eric Garcia, all coming out on social media after the game saying, you know what, we tried. This team is special. This team is strong. We went all the way to the end. We'll be back here next season. Do not count us out. I love the mentality. But the issue is, and the reason why Barcelona fans are disappointed is we should have won this. We had the easiest route to the final as well. Benfica, Dortmund on paper. The routes to the final were easiest one we got on paper. So we had the lucky draw in our favor, and we still couldn't get over the line. That is the real detrimental part for me. We're on for the quadruple. Everything was falling our way. Everyone thought it was destiny. We won the Copa del Rey final, which I thought was going to be the hardest thing to do of the two, of the semifinal and the Copa del Rey final. And I think we fell at the hurdle, which probably a lot of Barca fans and probably the players as well thought we'd get over the line. Not easy, but we'd get over the line. And of course, congrats to Inter. They scored 7 goals against us. I mean, us conceding 7 on paper, it looks absolutely disgusting. But I do think over the course of the 180 minutes that were played, Barcelona were well and truly the better side. But Inter played the game. They had the luck on their side as well. They had the referee decisions going their way, and they played the scumbag way, essentially. Which again, you can do that, to be fair, and I'm not discrediting that whatsoever. I'm not taking that away from them, but us having moral and respect and having pride and sportsmanship will always cost us, and this game is a perfect example of it. I'm not depressed. I'm not super sad. This sucks to be eliminated. I am sad, but this is not like what we've seen over the past few years, whether it be PSG last season, PSG in COVID, Bayern Munich in the group stages, Bayern Munich in the round 16, Anfield, Rome, Atletico. This is not on that kind of level, because we competed, we were there, we showed everything, and we just lacked that little extra luck and edge to get over the line, whether it be Balde, Koundé, and Lua being fit, whether it be the referee giving us a bit more 50-50s, whether it be the ball falling our way, Yann Sommer not having a good game, the weather as well. I know it's, like I mentioned on the live stream, and wet rainy conditions, it's hard for the attacking team to go through it. It's much easier for the defending team to defend. And the fact they got the goal very early on extra time, which again, nowadays extra time at the elite level only has 1 goal. We saw that, of course, in the Copa del Rey final. And once Frattesi got that goal, you knew that Barcelona were going to need an absolute miracle of miracles to get back into it. But the fact that this team was 2-0 down and brought it back to 3-2 should not be ignored whatsoever. The amount of remontadas we've done this season is astounding, and this is why I think next season will be harder. Teams will know how we play, the style will be different, and also we won't have something that luck on our side as well. Look at the amount of games we've come back, whether it be Celta, Valladolid, Madrid, and this game just in the past month alone. It is, no mean feat whatsoever. So I do want to end off by, congratulating the players, commemorating them, and, praising them for their performance over the course of 120 minutes. I think, luck and maybe a bit of tactics from Flick didn't really go our way, and Flick hopefully can learn from this as well. We've been talking a lot about his in-game management on the channel this season, that it hasn't been up to scratch. We've seen a lot of people call for Araujo's head. Look, I think that Araujo's role this season is what he's best at, but yet again, it seems to always cost us. He is an elite defender, but the problem is that Barcelona, not only do you have to be elite, the key component is you have to be intelligent. And unfortunately, Araujo is not an intelligent defender. He's an elite defender, 1v1 in the air, on the ground, and we see him do that very well this season, whether it be in the Copa del Rey final, whether it be in the Super Cup final, which of course gave him some big props and probably earned him that new contract. We saw in this game where when the intelligence comes through and where it's needed, he of course is surplus to requirements. So again, with Araujo, we get an offer, cool. If not, whatever. I'm not really someone that's going to say, push him out, because I think elite defending 1v1, he can have an important role. Definitely don't think he'll be a starter as a center back anytime soon. I still think Christensen overall is a better center back than Araujo, just hoping that Christensen can some way, somehow stay fit, and all these fine margins as well. Imagine if Flick brought on Christensen ahead of Araujo. That would have helped Barcelona so much. Of course, at the time, you're thinking Araujo as well. I'm not criticizing Flick for that, but not bringing on Christensen in this game to have him a bit more of an intelligent defender, especially when you take off Kubarsi, you've taken off Inigo who's had some discomfort and was on a yellow card as well. Some smart plays there from Flick would have been nice, but of course, Flick got us to this point. We can't really criticize him too much, I don't think. And this is more so constructive criticism, not me going at him whatsoever. I still love him. He's rocked my world this season. We're still on course for a domestic treble. Do not take that value away because of this loss. We got to 1 game away from the Champions League final. We were 5 games away from a quadruple or treble, whatever you want to call it. Do not let this game, this will kind of be the last note and the most important message I want to leave with you guys. Do not let this loss deteriorate the value of what we've done in Spain this season. Winning a domestic treble, which again we haven't done yet, so yeah, hopefully we do, inshallah. Winning a domestic treble against the Super Galactico team in Real Madrid and beating them, hopefully 4 out of 4 times, but at least bare minimum 3 out of 4 times this season, cannot be taken away. That is a massive feat. Of course, you lose this game, we go trophyless, we could all go apeshit, lose your mind, be depressed, no problem. But the fact we're still gonna win, hopefully should win 3 out of 4 trophies this season, does not take away the value. That is so good that Raphinha, Lamine, and Pedri will still be in a Ballon d'Or race if PSG do not win the Champions League. That's the only way that will stop them, because they can go on, especially Lamine and Pedri, go on and win this in the Nations League with Spain this summer. That can definitely get them some PR and boost as well. Although Ballon d'Or is not really made objective for Barcelona per se, so like, of course, a huge value to this team. We have some of the best players in the world in the positions, whether it be Pedri, Frankie, Lamine. Rafa's had an unbelievable season. Again, Rafa's gonna have a down, and I think Rafa has now the most GA in a Champions League campaign ever. I think he got a goal in this game. Did he get an assist? I don't think he did, because John Martin got, of course, 2 assists. So I mean, his GA is going to be absolutely through the roof. The numbers is going to be crazy. Let's just hope that PSG don't win the Champions League so he can get that recognition. But that is the one thing I do want to leave you guys. Do not let this game deteriorate what we've done this season overall. We've overachieved beyond belief. No one thought we were going to even reach this stage in the Champions League, that don't be in a situation where we lost by a fine margin, tactical decision by Flick, not having the referee in our favor, not having luck on our side. All these things, didn't come our way, and yet we still reach this point. So that should not be ignored whatsoever. But definitely more positives from this experience than negatives. This won't, live for me as a haunting, daunting moment. This will be sad, of course, next day or two. Once Friday, Saturday hits, you'll be locked in for the Clasico, and this will just be, a moment in a fantastic season, hopefully. But we'll see the players learn from this. Again, they've had a lot of downturn, especially the likes of, Frankie, Araujo, Ter Stegen, Koundé, Rafa. These players that have experienced the past few years of elimination, of hurt. This will be another one to add to the book, but we're clawing in, right? First it was group stage elimination, then it was quarterfinal elimination, now it's semi-final elimination. Hopefully there's no final elimination, like we're losing the final, but the team is getting closer and closer to the ultimate dream and goal, which is to fucking win a goddamn Champions League trophy at some point. I've always thought in my lifetime I will 1,000,000,000% see Barcelona winning the Champions League again. After this game, I kind of feel like low-key we are cursed, and now the first doubts are kind of rising in my mind. Like, will I actually see Barcelona lift the Champions League again? But I think that I'm still very confident that we will. Whether it be with this core group or not will be the main question. Having Lamine Yamal, the best player in the world by far this season, whether he was a Ballon or not is irrelevant. He's been the best player in the world this season, and having him at 17 right now and still having at least 15-20 years left of him, that means that something will definitely, hopefully, come our way. But overall, again, most important thing, do not let this game take away from the 3 trophies that hopefully we will win this season. And now it's just time to lock back in for the Clasico this weekend. Again, 2 more wins are needed to win the La Liga trophy. Of course, 1 win against Real Madrid specifically will win us the trophy. There's only 4 games left of the season. Let's go out on a high, and most importantly, celebrate with a parade with the fans the 3 trophies that hopefully we will end off winning in this season. Of course, in the comments down below, let me know your thoughts on everything we did discuss. Drop a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe as well if you haven't done so already. And I will see you guys next time on the channel. Take care, and Forza Barca.